Welcome into Working From Home. I'm Whitney Hayworth with the Sunbelt Conference, joined today by Louisiana head football coach Billy Napier. Coach, how are you doing during these unprecedented times down in Lafayette?
Well, I tell you, sometimes we tend to maybe get negative and complain, but there's been lots of positives relative to the extra time that we've had. I've taken on the role of teaching school at the house, so I've got the kids from 7 to about 10:15 or so. We've got a great routine in the morning. It allows my wife to kind of continue with her normal routine, and then they're still allowing me to come into the office. So I come on in after that, and then we work from there. It's challenging you to be creative about in all the areas that you deal with the staff and the players, and that's been a great challenge. And I think it's really going to help us going forward. So, but it's going well. I think this gives you great perspective and certainly have an appreciation for the freedoms that we do have, and then also the people out there right now that are really at the forefront of taking on the virus in the hospitals, certainly the healthcare professionals, all the people relative to operating that hospital day in and day out. So some positive, some negative, but certainly we certainly are grateful for the things that we do have.
You talk perspective, so we'll talk about two different perspectives. From the head coaching one, obviously football is a fall sport, but still affected. You were in spring football practice, the spring game was canceled, pro day was canceled. How have you navigated that time and, talk to your players to help console them and help them understand, the severity of what we're going through, and also, keep a positive light moving forward for them?
Well, it's not the things that we've missed are not necessarily as severe. You really immediately think about the spring sports, and certainly basketball was right in the middle of the conference championship game. So the spring sports, the basketball teams that were right at the end of their season, for those things to be taken away, much more of an issue than it would be for us. I think for our staff, I think the big thing here for us is that we all can contribute to what's happening, relative to trying to defeat the virus. The decisions that we do make really focus on trying to educate the players relative to washing their hands, social distancing, not touching their face. All the little things that they can do each day that can help contribute to their community and certainly to our state, which is certainly in the midst of a battle right now. And then obviously as a whole, we've got players spread throughout the entire country on our team. So those things are what's most important, I think, at this time. But we are trying to continue with our normal business. We're certainly operating with virtual meetings as a staff, virtual meetings with the players, trying to conceptually maybe some of those football things that we would be doing. The strength and conditioning variable, the nutrition variable, those are things that we're working hard at. And you've got players that have injuries that are in the rehab process. That's another thing that we're working hard on. What gets overlooked, I think, is the academic piece. These guys are operating as students much like they've never done before. So that's a challenge, and I think that I told the team Monday, we meet weekly as a team. I think that we all got our set of problems. It's ultimately about managing those and having a great attitude and a great approach and coming up with really good solutions for those problems.
One thing that's, somewhat hard to look ahead to at this point, but at the end of April is the NFL draft, we hope. Certainly going to be a different draft than we've ever seen before. Some of your players hope to have their name called, including Robert Hunt, Kevin Dotson, Raymond Calais. What have you seen from them in this off season? Obviously at the combine for Raymond and Robert, and just the work that they've put in, and how have you kept up with them during this time, knowing that they've got that to look ahead to and still have work to do?
Yeah, I think we had a great group of seniors, not just a talented group, and a lot of those guys that are going to be professional players, but terrific group in terms of the personality, the attitude, the approach, um, how seriously they took their role on the team. I think a lot of players contributed more than others, but it was a great group. And those guys that you mentioned, we do have a handful of players that have got an opportunity to go be professional players. And all of those guys have done a great job managing their situation. I think they've got good representation. Their representation has come up with good plans. We have assisted in that to some degree because we did have to cancel pro day. We tried to get out in the forefront of that and help manage some of those situations. A lot of those players are doing individual pro days. We're making sure that we get video of that. We're sending it to the National Football League Dub Center so that all 32 teams get access to that tape. I've had several conversations with general managers about how to best manage this situation. So I feel good about where we're at. And believe it or not, we're actually, the last couple of days, have done a few things to try to improve the situation for some of those guys.
And what are some of those things that you've been able to try and work on and improve in the last few days?
Well, I think the big thing is making sure that the footage of what would be a pro day, all the measurables, all the individual workouts, position-specific work that they would need to do, making sure that those guys have had an opportunity to do that, that it's been video, that it's been sent to all the teams, and that they have that information. Because a lot of times, certainly for the guys that maybe are late draft pick free agents, pro days are where they kind of make a name for themselves. So I think we've got some guys like that. I think we've got some guys that will get drafted. I think we have some free agent candidates that will make training camp. And we look forward to doing as much as we can do to help those guys for sure.
And let's focus on the Napier family as we close out this interview. As we stay at home and shelter in place, you mentioned, you're becoming teacher at home in the mornings. What else can you tell us about what you all are doing? You've got 3 young kids at home, so maybe some movies or TV shows that you all have been watching and activities you've been doing.
Well, I think my kids are 7, 5, and 3, and basically my routine with them right now is that I wake them up, we get them dressed, we clean our rooms, we make our bed, we eat breakfast, we have a little morning recess time, we come in, we say prayer, we say the pledge. I'm responsible for teaching the Bible class and the penmanship class. So Allie does a great job the night before of kind of mapping everything out that I'm supposed to do, all the worksheets, all the YouTube videos, and then, managing those 3 at the same time can be a challenge. So they've done a great job. Allie, she's been tremendous throughout all of this. And if anybody's got their routine flipped upside down, it's been her. So she's been great. And the weekends have been awesome. We've been able to get outside a lot with the kids, and we're getting more time than we typically would, which is a huge blessing. It really gives you perspective going forward about some of the things that you might do different. I think not only for me and my family, but also decisions maybe that I could make that could affect the rest of the organization and some of the staff members that do have kids.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking the time today to catch up with me. I think I might actually need the schedule you have your kids are on because I am on no true schedule. So if you can send that to me, that'd be greatly appreciated. But hope you're staying safe and healthy down in Lafayette and that we get to see each other again sometime soon.
All right, Whit. Thank you. Stay safe. Have a great day.